People often ask me how I became so devoted to working with couples dealing with substance abuse. Well, before I was a psychologist, I was a genetic counselor working with pregnant couples at risk for having a child with a genetic disease. I would help them understand the risk and the testing options. And I found the science fascinating, but what I really found inspiring was helping them deal with the psychological dimensions of the problems. One day I got a call from a couple that I had counseled, and they had elected to terminate a pregnancy because of a genetic abnormality. And they didn't regret their decision, but they were in tremendous distress, and they asked if they could come back and talk with me. At the time, I wasn't trained to work with couples in this way, but I instinctively worked to help them be able to say to each other what they had been keeping to themselves. And there was a magical moment when they stopped communicating through me and they started talking to each other directly. And they started sharing their deepest feelings about the experience and said things that they had been too afraid to even put into words. I had a moment where I just receded into the background and I just knew I had to stay out of their way. And that was the moment, the instant that I knew I wanted to get my degree in psychology and I wanted to work with couples. Later in my training, I had a client that used various drugs. He told me right up front he liked using drugs, and he also knew that he had to do something because they were really causing a problem in his life. We developed a very strong working relationship, and over time, he cut back his use and then he quit. And when I asked him what had made the difference, he really surprised me. He said, "You treated me like a human being, not like an addict." I will never forget him for putting that lesson into words. Along the way, I put these two very powerful experiences together. Helping couples impacted by substance abuse. This is what I want to do.